What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're going to be working on a project called Repeated Leaf Patterns. It's a really interesting way to do an abstract design that's all about using different color schemes, and it normally takes about 5 to 6 one-hour classes for my students to complete. This is a very simple project that winds up kind of looking like artistic camouflage that covers an entire page. I've heard people say it looks like wallpaper before. I don't really see it. Whatever. You're allowed to disagree with me. You're wrong if you do, but we're going to do a worksheet where we choose a few different shapes of interesting leaves. Don't make it so interesting that it's the type of leaf that's not allowed in school, if you know what I'm saying. No doobies allowed. Leaves come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes. There's different types of leaves. Whatever you would like to use, as long as it's school appropriate, get a few different shapes down. Then what we're going to do is, once we refine those shapes and get them the way that we like them, we're going to cut a couple of them out of index cards, and we're going to use those as templates that we can trace over and over again. And we're going to make sure that we overlap things, not just have them spaced out, but actually have them crossing over each other, because we want to see not just the shape of the leaf, but the extra shape that is made when two leaf shapes overlap. Because when we do that, we want to change our colors, and that's what's going to make this an interesting project. Once you have all your stuff drawn and you've completely covered your paper, including having pieces that are going off the edge, you don't want there to be any empty gaps around the outside. Once you've done that, you are going to start coloring. But before you get to color, you have to decide what kind of color scheme you're going to use. We have 3 different options. Option number 1, monochromatic. Mono meaning one. Chromatic, I guess, means color. I've never really looked it up, but I know it means you use one color. In this one, you would use a light, a medium, and a dark of the exact same color. So you're going to use the one blue colored pencil, and you'll color very lightly in some areas, and then you'll use the same pencil to color a medium darkness in other areas, and then you'll use the same pencil to color very dark in the third areas. Option 2 is that you're going to use complementary colors. So complementary colors are opposite each other on the color wheel, and they always create a very strong visual effect. You'll see them used a lot in commercial art and logos. But say you choose orange and blue. So then you're going to color your leaves, one set of leaves orange, one set of leaves blue, and you're going to choose a color that can go where they overlap that you think will help those two colors pop out. I would choose something that's close to one of the colors or the other color. Or you could do brown. Brown is a color in the color family called neutral, where if you mix opposite colors on the color wheel, you get something from a brown to a dark gray. That's how it works with paint. So if you want to do it like that, then that would be fine. And your third option for a color scheme is analogous, which is 3 colors in a row on the color wheel. We recently did a color wheel project, so you should know even about your tertiary colors. So when I say 3 colors in a row, I don't mean red, yellow, blue. Those are not in a row. I would mean yellow, then yellow, green, then green, something like that. And you could decide how you want to organize those however you want to, but just make sure that you have a color for each type of leaf that you have, a designated color for each leaf shape that you have, and that you have a designated color for the overlapping spaces. I want to make sure that you can identify those, and it also makes it very interesting. When you're actually doing your coloring, I would suggest, in order to give it a little bit of dimension, a little bit of depth, that you go very dark around the outside of each shape, and then you color lighter on the inside of each shape. That will add together to make something beautiful. If you want to level yours up to the hashtag Art Squad level, then what I might do is use 3 different leaves, 3 different shapes, and therefore you might have to expand your color out a little bit. Instead of 3 analogous colors, you might need 4 analogous colors in order to really make it look a little bit more complex and beautiful. And then I would try and do what you need to do in order to make it look like, all of the leaf number 1s are floating up and they have a little shadow underneath them. If you need help figuring out how to do that, first think about it on your own, but after that you can ask me and I'll help you.